Tony Yannuzzi here, finally back on another episode of GoTarryn TV. And this is an episode I've been waiting to do with Tarryn the Traveling Trainer since my wedding reception. And I'm so glad we're finally able to do it today. And we'll see you in a second.
Hey everyone, welcome to GoTarryn TV today. This is Tarryn the Traveling Trainer from Atlanta, Georgia here on GoTarryn TV, episode number 497. And we have on the other line, as you can see side by side, welcoming back to GoTarryn TV since the wedding. I have not seen him since last month, or talked to him for that matter. Tony Yannuzzi, back here on GoTarryn TV. Tony, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. And like I said in the intro, I've been waiting to do this episode.
Yes.
Literally since my wedding reception. I kept getting pulled away and whatnot, and it just didn't click. And unfortunately, you had to leave early. I was a little disappointed in that, but I understood. But I'm glad to be here now.
Well, it's great to have you on. And first and foremost, we got to show everybody. It looks like you're styling and modeling the GoTarryn T-shirt, aren't you? Can we see that?
Yeah.
Let's see.
The classic. This time,
Look at that. Oh, I love it. That's wonderful.
Your life.
Hey, that's great.
I figured I'd go a little retro this time.
That's awesome. Well, Tony, it was an awesome wedding, too. Tell us, please, for all the people that couldn't be there, for example, if Jason Wood's watching, he was very curious, too, to find out. He was wanting to watch our video blog together. For the folks who couldn't make the wedding, how was it? And tell us about the honeymoon. And, again, catch everyone up to speed, please, if they haven't been able to get a chance to talk to you.
And that's probably, yes, that's a tall order, and that's probably going to be the entire episode, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please.
But first, I just wanted to say that my now father-in-law, I have never seen him warm up to anybody upon the first meeting that he did to you. Because both my mom and my dad separately, first time they'd met the good doctor, he was very, I don't want to say shy, but very guarded, very quiet.
Sure.
And it wasn't until the second time they've each met him that he opened up and got all animated and jokey and all that.
Oh.
But with you, I guess I introduced you. You introduced yourselves. And
yeah.
You guys got to talking, and then I disappeared only because I had a guy. In fact, I think you're his Facebook friend now, David Moreno.
Yes.
Came 3 hours away, drove 3 hours away to the wedding on the actual day. So. And we hadn't met in person before either.
Oh, wow. Okay.
After 12 years, so that's 2004.
Awesome.
Anyway, so I disappeared just to visit with him because he was kind of sitting by himself. And then eventually we were all called out to the front yard of my in-laws' house to do the professional bridal party pictures.
Yes.
And I guess we were waiting for everybody to come, and my father-in-law sidles up next to me and says, your friend from Atlanta, what's his name?" I said, "It's Tarryn." He goes, "Oh yeah, I like him."
Oh, wow, that was nice.
And that was the first time I'd ever heard him say that about anybody he just met, and I've known him for 4 years. And at that day, that evening, we were texting to just try to firm up that this was the day we were going to record. I was actually out to dinner. I was out to dinner with Katie and my in-laws.
Oh.
And just by coincidence, after we wrapped up our text conversation, and they were asking us about the honeymoon and about my friends and all that. And again, he said, your buddy from Atlanta, what's his name?" I said, "Tarryn." "Yeah, Tarryn. I like him." You made an impression on a guy. Well, from my experience, kind of hard to make a first impression on, but you did it.
Oh, that's really nice. Thank you. Well, if he's watching right now, tell him we said hi, Pops.
So yeah, what can I say? It was a privilege to have you with us as long as we did.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And just to tell everybody, I believe I gave you the video of Blake, my best man, making his speech, because I know you had to leave and you missed it. So I thought for everybody who couldn't be there, who wanted to be there, at the end of this video, I invite everybody, Glow people, Glow fans, my friends, everybody, or everybody who just may know me from here, just to get a little better insight on who I am. I'm sure maybe you've seen it by now, but I'm sure you're going to watch it again. Anyway, I invite everybody who may only know me from here,
Yes.
stick around at the end and listen to my best man talk about me for his speech.
Yeah, make sure, again, like Tony said, it's going to be on the very end of this video blog when we wrap up and say goodbye and fade to black. We're going to have that for everyone, and they're going to see. It was very touching and very appropriate, too. And what a true gentleman Blake Norton was. It was a pleasure and honor to meet him. We got to get him on here sometime, too.
We do.
Great.
Speaking of that, we also, the gentleman I spoke of a minute ago, David Moreno, I think he's a good candidate for the show as well. I think you should look him up and try to get together with him.
Yeah, please.
I think he'd be a great candidate for his own episode.
No, that'll be wonderful. I'm going to write that down before I forget. That'll be wonderful. David Moreno. And I know he's on my friends list, too.
And that was another thing. I mean, friends who became Facebook friends after meeting just for that evening. In fact, when we were on the cruise, Katie kept getting these friend requests like, hey, who's this? Who's this? Who's this? Oh, that's Rusty from college. That's Jeff from college. That's Bryce from college. That's this guy and that guy. Same with her to me. It's like, okay, who's this lady? Who's this lady? So, I mean, when pictures are posted or stuff about the wedding is posted, and people who like it, who you don't recognize, we just have to make sure, okay, you know this person, you know that person. This person sending me a friend request is your friend, so he or she is safe. And one little aside story. Back when Katie was getting her degree for nurse practitioner, and we sat in the FAU campus, and I watched her get her diploma.
Oh.
At the end, we went back to the in-laws' house just to hang around before we all went out to dinner. And Katie came to me, and not accusing me of anything. She said, "Who's this? Is this one of your friends?" And apparently, what happened was somebody who we both know commented, "Congratulations." And I took one look, but she said it was a female. So I take one look, and I see Patricia J. Summerlin.
Sunny the California girl. Mm-hmm.
No, but the point was I recognized the name.
Yep.
And I started taking it back. Like, oh wow, that was very nice.
Oh.
So later that evening, she was on Facebook chat. So I just sent her a nice message saying I was very touched, and we were both very honored to just have you make a comment. And she said, no problem. Wish you guys both the best, and happy wedding next month. And thanks to you, I have made friends that I would have never dreamed of.
Oh, thank you.
So just while I'm thinking of it, thanks to you.
Oh, that's great.
For that. And but so yeah, it was a surreal weekend because, like I posted the day we left for our honeymoon on Facebook, I said, I'm used to being a wallflower at weddings. Mm-hmm. I'm the guest who, until I met Katie, I was the guest who watched the coats at the table while everyone got up and danced. So I was perfectly okay to just see everybody, shake hands, and people offered their congratulations. And I knew, not to, Katie's friends were joking with her, like, oh, he needs a ball and chain, where is he? Somewhere else. But the thing is, my mindset was She's going to be with me the rest of my life. I don't know when the next time I'm going to see these people. These people meaning Blake, these people meaning you, these people meaning even David. And so whenever there was a point to break away, I would just let the tide of people carry me to wherever they wanted. And while she wasn't upset, she was just teasing me. You're a husband now. You gotta. So, but and that's another thing while I'm thinking of it. My aunt Tina, my mother's sister, who did one of the readings in the church, uh, during one of my breakaway periods, Blake and I were sitting on a sofa in the lobby of the reception hall, and and she was there, and we were kind of talking and looking through our phones because apparently something was happening. I needed his help, but I can't remember what. Point is, the three of us were sitting there talking and having a good time. Excuse me. And then after the fact, after I got back from the honeymoon, I called my mom, and she said, your Aunt Tina was just taken aback and amazed. She knew you as this weird kid. I have three female cousins. She had three daughters.
Mm-hmm.
So she was used to having girls around. When I was, I guess, around the age where I first met you, and I'd visit their house in Maryland, I was just this weird little kid who she didn't know how to deal with because I was a guy. I was a boy. Whereas her daughters, their pockets would be stuffed with little rocks or flowers or tissue paper. She was doing my laundry. Out of my pocket, she pulled out a realistic rubber eyeball. So, anyways, I mean, I guess she knew me from just her sister's son. And point is that after the wedding, she was taken aback by how many other people knew me from so many other places and points in life that, like, wow, he really had people that knew of it. She was
Yeah. That is so cool.
So, Antina, if you're watching, thank you for your participating in the reading of the ceremony, and as well as Uncle Doug for bringing up the ceremonial gifts. And I'm glad you guys could make it, as well as everybody.
Absolutely. And how about also the party favor I gave you at the reception from one DDP here in Atlanta? Oh, you've got it on. Look at that.
It really hasn't left me. In fact, that's another thing. After you gave it to me, I figured, well, we're at the table. It's between courses. We're not really doing anything. I quick grabbed my phone, and I did a Facebook post. You probably saw it, where I took a picture of my wrist with the band, and I said thank you, and I tagged Diamond Dallas Page, and I did a hashtag DDP here by proxy, and my sister's boyfriend was one of the groomsmen, Amir, who you probably remember, the bald guy with the glasses.
Yes.
He saw me on my phone, and he thought I was just fooling around. So just, subtly he came up and said, yeah, you might not want to be on your phone right now because it's your wedding. And so I'm just trying to give a thank you to a guy who sent a gift to someone else, and I just want to say thank you. So, but the funny thing was that it wasn't until we were on the boat that Matt, you remember Matt?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He Facebook chatted me and said, wait a minute. So Diamond Dallas Page actually gave you the DDP bracelet. And I said, yeah, through Tarryn, because they're neighbors. They live next door. He goes, whoa, that's cool. He didn't know he was amazed by that. So DDP, if you're watching, thank you very much. I was touched. And sorry you couldn't be there, but thank you for your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. It was there by proxy. That's awesome. And what other highlights too, Tony, from the wedding and the reception can you recall?
Highlights. Well, one of the all right. So we got to go back a little ways. Of course, because you were there, you were standing right next to me in the church parking lot. My best man, who up to that point had not forgotten a thing about what we had to do, realizes he forgets the rings.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know who asked, maybe it was my dad, like, do you have the rings? And he got this wide-eyed look like maybe he had crapped himself a little. No, but I was this wide-eyed look, and he goes, I forgot the rings. And I'm looking, I don't remember if I actually said anything, but I'm looking at him as if to say, dude, don't do that. That's not funny. No, I forgot the rings. I gave them to you. Yes, you did. And I'm telling you, it's my fault. Just stand there. Go with my dad. Get in the Hummer. Yeah, and my dad's starting to panic. Well, you stay here, I'll go. Like, no. He knows where they are. You go with him, we're just going to have to wait. And I felt so terrible because I'm in the church because Katie, with her father, drove up, so I had to go inside, so I didn't see her.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm standing in front of the altar. I'm just standing there like a doofus while I'm and that's when I see Mr. Moreno, David Moreno. Even though I hadn't met him in person, I knew I recognized him right off, and he came right up to me, big hug, and we just kind of stood there. Then thanks for making the trip. Oh, no problem, wouldn't have missed it. And I had to stop at Marshall's and get myself a tie, but then I saw Trader Joe's. I figured I'd get a little lunch and blah, blah, blah. So then he sat down, and the funny thing is more people are filing in. I'm looking more and more nervous. And anybody who would be sitting there would think, oh, yeah, he's nervous to get married. No, I was nervous because, A, I'm waiting for my best man to come back with the rings, and B, I felt bad because this kindly old priest who actually comes from the town that Blake now is 5 minutes away from, and that was a good connection there.
Yeah, certainly.
But he married all of Katie's sisters,
Mm-hmm.
and this was the final, complete marry the whole family thing. And during the rehearsal, again, I had somebody stand in for you. But during the rehearsal, he says to the both of us, I need you on your word of honor to meet with me in the sanctuary at 1:45, and please don't forget. So this poor man, this poor father, sitting where we were supposed to have met with him, and we're all waiting on Blake, and I'm feeling terrible because he essentially broke a promise to him, but he understood. But then at some point my mother came up and said, your tie's not straight, let me straighten your tie, and she brings me in, and the father's sitting there looking all disappointed, and I'm feeling so bad, but then he came back, got the rings, got the last of the groomsmen's gifts for Matt and yourself. Hopefully while I'm talking, maybe some pictures have been shown of the festivities with you and me, so perhaps while I'm talking, the viewers can see how you and I have interacted.
Yes.
You and other people. So yeah, that was a major highlight. Another highlight is during the reception. I don't know if it was before or after you left, but I realized that nobody brought my keys back after they got the rings back, and I'm internally panicking because if they're lost and I can't get back into my house, and that's just the way I internally operated.
Mm-hmm.
So I've disappeared. Blake's trying to keep me sane and figure out, okay, what do we do? Who do we call? What happens if we can't do this and that? And my mom's trying to get me because the DJ, not the DJ, the band leader, they want to do this gigantic selfie of everybody on the dance floor. And they're waiting for the groom. And the groom is in the hallway worried about what the heck is happening with his keys. So yes, it was a little, again, like I said earlier, I'm not used to being the center of attention, especially during the wedding. I'm used to being the guy with the with the drinks and watching the coats and everything. So this was all new to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the fact that they kept having to pull me back into the ballroom, half the room and half the center of attention. But you know, I'm glad you were around for as long as you were. I was honestly disappointed you had to leave so soon because you hadn't mentioned it. And it wasn't until you were talking with Matt, I saw you in your street clothes. I'm like, oh gosh, you know, it's just a shame we couldn't have more time together just as friends.
Yeah, I'll have to come down there again soon, or you come up to Atlanta, and we'll have to get together for sure.
Well, I was gonna say we know this can work now.
Yeah, absolutely. If you come up to Atlanta with Katie, I will definitely have to bring you over and introduce you to DDP and bring you to the Performance Center there too in Smyrna.
I look forward to that. But either way, you come down here, I go up there. Whoever makes the first trip, let's plan on another, even if it's just a day, maybe lunch or something. You show me around the
yes,
or
yes,
or maybe we can plan something for longer, depending on how long we're in each other's areas.
yes.
Yes. The point is, I look very forward to seeing you in person again more often.
Well, likewise. Thank you, Tony. And again, it's always a pleasure, and I'm glad to finally have met you in person as well. Congratulations. Now you are officially Mr. Tony Yannuzzi, and so you're a married man, and this is wonderful. I'm so glad we finally got to connect again since the wedding. Now, if anybody's watching out there, Tony, let's plug some stuff. How can they best contact you?
Well, they can best contact me through Facebook with my own name. I'm also on Twitter at Sayscalled, SAYSCALLED. Those are the two best ways to get in touch with me.
Perfect.
If one were to.
Okay. Well, Tony, before I let you go, let me ask you this, because I didn't get to talk to you about this yet. The Glow Girls have been asking, are you going to be on next year's cruise, February 12th, the Afterglow Fan Cruise Party number 2? Are you going to be there?
All I can say is right now I'm going to try my darndest because I am married now. It'll be our first time I stay together.
Yes.
So I'm going to push for it, and that's all I can really promise right now.
So it'll probably be 2 tickets, one for you and one for Katie.
Exactly.
Excellent. Well, that's perfect because that's how they sell the cabin rooms, and that'll be wonderful. So that'll be great.
But before we break, I just wanted to say that for the first time since getting back from the honeymoon, I went back to my gym because after the cruise, with all the salt from the food and the margaritas, I retained fluid, I got bloated.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't have the stamina for much of anything. And after I lost the water weight, I got sick, which I'm still trying to get over. But it was the first time I felt well enough to get back to the gym. So I walk over to the gym, and there's our friend Sean George.
Yes.
Some lost sheep from the flock. He goes, "Did you get married?" I said, "Yes." And I showed him that ring. And so in between his clients, I'm showing him pictures of you and I. He's asking, "Tarryn, is he a big guy?" I said, "Well, here's the two of us in a informal professional photo on my in-laws' front lawn." Because when the photographer called for an informal photo, all I remember you saying is, impact players. Exactly what that meant. I went down to the land storm position. He did a just incredible thing. Anyway, so yeah, between his clients, I'm showing him pictures of the two of us, and he's laughing about you getting my best man at a hammerlock. And so I don't think things didn't work out, but again, you come back down here, you can do a video blog from Tequesta Fitness, and that, you come down here, I'll bring you to Tequesta Fitness. I come up there, you bring me to DDP's workshop.
That'll be a deal. If Sean's watching, yeah, I apologize, Sean. I ran out of time, and I did not get a chance to get there. I did not book my trip with enough time to make that visit up there to Tequesta. I guess Tequesta was probably about a half hour north of where we were at, roughly, I guess. Good.
15 minutes, yeah.
Oh, 15. Okay, yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that next time I get down there, I'm going to definitely visit that fitness center as well. And we got to get Sean back on here too. So if he's watching, we'll have him back on the show. But that's great, Tony. Again, thank you so much for checking in. Always a pleasure talking to you, especially now that I got a chance to meet you in person, face to face. And before we let you go, before we play Blake Norton's Best Man speech, anything else to summarize in conclusion, and before we get out of here for the weekend?
Well, for the weekend, I'm glad you asked, because now I have 2 nieces and 2 nephews. Father's Day
yes.
is coming up, and what's going to happen is my sister-in-law. When it comes, I've got 3 new sisters now, not in-laws. I say mother-in-law, I say father-in-law, I say brother-in-law. I don't say sister-in-law, because those Katie's sisters are like my sisters. So I got 4 sisters now. So Katie's sister Rosie and her husband Barry, they're the Millers. Look, there's going to be 2 Miller family birthday parties on Sunday, Father's Day, on top of a Father's Day celebration. So my father, who you've obviously met, Vince, he understands that, yes, I'm a husband now. I gotta, my wife sort of comes first with these things. So we're gonna have our own Father's Day either before or after, and we're going over to the Miller's house, which is actually across the way from where I am now. And we're going to have Barry's stepmother's birthday, as well as my niece Haley's birthday. Haley was the one that you escorted into the reception hall.
Very good.
So, 2 of them, plus Father's Day, that's going to be my Sunday. And that was a long road to a short point, but that's what's happening this weekend for me.
Excellent. Well, have fun, Tony. And again, say hi to everyone from Atlanta for us here. And always, again, a pleasure to have you. Let's have you back on next month to check in, see how the month of July is going for you, too.
All right, can't wait.
All right, Tony. Well, hey, happy weekend to you. We'll talk to you next month. And for all the folks out there watching as we fade to black, again, one more time, here comes Blake Norton's Best Man speech from the wedding down at North Palm Beach, Florida. So, Tony, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. All right, folks, stay tuned. Here it comes right now.
6 months from now. And at some point over the last year, it became clear to me that this idea of success that I had in my head, that I had it all backwards. Because when I started to come over here in the last couple of weeks, the last couple of months, I started to ask myself, what would I say if I was to talk about Tony in front of a room full of people like this? Why is it that 2 people stay tight for 20 years? I've only met up twice before now in person, only twice. Why is it people stay together? They don't. You can live with somebody, but why do work colleagues work together every day? Why do married couples stay together and actually communicate, really do it properly? Why do friends really stay friends, and why do they build something? And I realized that the reason why I was still friends with Tony after 20 years is because every single day I've been learning from him. I was driving back with his dad, Vince, today, wonderful man. It blows my mind because last time I was here in Florida, 17 years ago, I was a very awkward young teenage kid, and I didn't really get to know everybody because I was a teenager and I was on track and all that stuff. And the last couple of days, I've gotten to hang out with his family, and I suddenly realized that he's just like my family. You know, he's got a beautiful, talented younger sister. He's got a hard-working, smart, awesome dad. He's got a creative, empathetic, beautiful mother. And driving back today, Vince and I, we went for a casual drive at about 1:45 p.m. today. And driving back, I was just asking him, because I didn't have the chance to talk to him before now, ever in my life, really, just about Tony, and just about what he thought about today, and what he thought about, you know, did he see him getting married and all that kind of stuff. And hopefully this isn't letting something out of the bag, but if it is, then you can't take it back. He's driving along just casually, he just mentions, because, you know, dads, they tend to be hard on their sons, because we want our sons to do well, we want our students to do well, we want our younger people, our younger siblings to do well, so we push them because we see the potential in them, and they, sometimes, you know, people like us, we think they're pushing us because they don't believe in us, they're pushing us because they do. And as we're driving along, Vince, he's just driving along, and I say, you know, so what do you think about getting married? He said, well, I didn't know if he'd get married or not, you know, he said he wasn't just going to get married, it was just if he not found a girl, but if he found the girl. And that's what he's done, he's found the girl. And he said, anybody who knows Tony a little bit knows that each one of us is an individual journey, each one of us has our own lives, and nobody will ever know it except for us, nobody ever will. No matter how close we get to people, they'll never know the highs, they'll never know the lows, they'll never know the things that make us sing and the things that make us freak out at 3 o'clock in the morning when nobody else is around. Nobody knows that. But Tony, we all know, has been handed so many challenges. And challenges build character. And we're driving along and Vince just says, I don't know how he does it. I couldn't do it. Tony's the strongest, the bravest man that I know. And that's why after 20 years, I find myself here, because for 20 years, a relationship, like every relationship in my life, that I never gave enough credence to, that I never took enough time to really think about. Last couple of weeks, I got the chance to really think about you. And why is it that you're in my life? And it's because everything you do, you give your whole heart to. Tony loves Ghostbusters. Yeah. Every time his phone rings, he draws pictures of Egon and he emails them to me. Tony loves pro wrestling. Yeah. And he's not those guys who sits back and says, oh, this guy should have won the championship, they should have played that guy. He's not that guy. He's not looking up bitterly. He says, I love this guy, I love that guy. He goes to the shows, he makes signs for his favorite wrestlers. And Tony loves his family. In 20 years, I don't remember him once criticizing anybody in his family. He adores his mother, he adores his father, he adores his sister. And never once in 20 years, not one time, have I ever heard you say, I deserve what he has. It's not fair, it's not good enough. I spent my whole 20s wrestling, falling off top ropes, being in front of cameras, stuff like that. All this stuff that, you know, it seems awesome, it seems successful, or if you get a big paycheck, it seems successful. This wedding even, Tony's not a guy about weddings. He's a guy about marriage. He's in it for the long run. This is a great, great union. Because these are two wonderful people who see the best in each other. He sees the best in that beautiful girl, Katie. He adores her. He sees it. He talks about her all the time. He talks about it to every friend. He talks about it online. He talks to everybody, everywhere. And she gets him. Everything he wants to do, she supports, she helps him, she goes with him, she endorses him. That's what love is. Here. Thank you so much for all you've taught me in the last 20 years. You are my best man. I love you. And I look forward to every day forward we'll have the chance to get to know you even better.